One of the things we loved is as we were, it came out of our work with couples who have been through betrayal, but the more and more we started using it, the more and more we realized, oh, this is just how you build healthy relationship, period. Right? And the couples who have been through betrayal are really motivated to learn how to build healthy relationship, right? But we use it with every single couple we work with in our office. And we wrote the book to hopefully be accessible for every couple out there so they can learn those things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what are your thoughts, Dan?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, I hadn't even thought, I was only thinking, betrayal, betrayal healing. That was where the thinking came for this model to begin with. It was them. I mean, they thought, well, I think this is a framework that any couple could benefit from. And so I appreciate you guys, like, oh yeah, that actually, I could see it. I think it's foundational for any couple. We take some of this stuff for granted, but I think, any couple can benefit from it. So that was helpful from you guys.
Yeah. And the framework's pretty straightforward. This idea of intimacy as the goal, right? That a couple who's decided to be in a relationship, that they want to figure out what does it look like for two people to share something together, right? And to share this kind of sense of oneness and connection, right? While still staying themselves, right? Just being able to be myself, but also be in relationship. How do we get there? And so we started kind of conceptualizing what are the pieces that have to fall into place, right? For two people to be together, there needs to be vulnerability. There's risk involved, right? I'm going to lean in and not just kind of stay out and self-protect. And so that vulnerability is really kind of that piece right under intimacy, right? That to get to that oneness, we have to risk. But if we want vulnerability, that's easier said than done, right? To really be vulnerable, I need to be able to trust. I need to be able to trust the relationship. I need to be able to trust the partner. And for what we know, for those of us who work with these betrayal cases, that's really where things broke down, right? The lies, the hiddenness, the duplicity is where that trust was shattered. And so if they're going to get to that place they're desiring to be, they have to figure out how to rebuild that trust. And to do that means there's going to be some things that they have to put back. One is safety, right? The relationship has to be safe again, right? It has to be a place that they know that their partner is consistently showing up in healthy, constructive ways. That's going to allow trust to kind of get restored. And I think what Dan did so wisely when they were thinking about full disclosure and they were thinking about the kind of start of the process is, well, this all fell apart because of the lies, right? This all fell apart because of the duplicity. And so if we're going to have safety, we have to have honesty. And that's really kind of where the framework came together was if we're starting over for a couple, we've got to start with honesty, then we work on safety, we work on trust, vulnerability. That gets us to that place of intimacy we're really desiring.
One thing to say on that, and I appreciate you guys helped me think through this differently. In my original framework, which you will see if you have used Janice Caudill and I's disclosure workbooks, the pyramid is in there, but you'll see at the base it says truth and not honesty. And my original framework was truth. And you guys helped me think like, well, it's not just truth. We're not just restoring truth. That is part of restoring truth, but that comes through honesty. That honesty is an active process that we do. Truth is this external thing. So I think we put honesty at the base of the pyramid instead of truth for that reason, which I think is a good move.
I wanted to ask about, so the way that the book is framed for those who haven't yet purchased it, it talks about these 5 building blocks and what are they and how do you build it? So what is honesty? How do you build honesty? And I felt like it was a really great roadmap. Was that purposeful? Try to make it very clear so that it's easily consumable? Or was this just your style of writing? Was there a thought process, a planning about that? Or because again, it was like, what is it? How do you do it? What is it? How you do it? And it's this beautiful recipe, which, then is magical at the top.
Yeah, I think we were really lucky because we have great clients who ask good questions. And I think a lot of the things that came out of the book were our opportunity to work with couples who went, yeah, great, but how the heck do I do that? Right. And so, because we would show them the pyramid and they'd go, love it, let's do it. Right. And then they'd kind of go, but if we knew how to be honest, we'd already been honest, right? We would have already done this a long time ago. And so I think that's really where we had so much fun fleshing it out, is going, yeah, like great concept. What's that look like? And what does that look like when I've spent a lifetime? I know, as a betraying spouse myself, as someone who works with betraying spouses, I spent a lifetime learning to lie, learning to hide, learning to deceive, and to be, to kind of operate in those shadows. So there's got to be a lot of process of re-education.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that was fun for me was to think about kind of the bigger category and go, what are people missing, right? When I say honesty, I think I mean something very different than a lot of people are hearing when they think honesty, right? A lot of times they think, well, there's no active deception happening anymore, right? And I'm going, well, but there's no self-awareness. So this relationship isn't going to feel honest and open if you can't share what's really going on with you, because you don't know, right? And so thinking through, how do we help people understand these levels, like Matthew's saying, like, what is this? When we say honesty, when we say safety, trust, vulnerability, these are big concepts. And, we couldn't cover everything in the book, but I think one of the things I was focused on are, what are the pieces that maybe sometimes get missed? And so people get really stuck, right? If you don't understand emotional regulation and you're wondering, why do we still feel unsafe with each other? And we're constantly getting dysregulated and creating disconnection, right? Yeah, you are going to get really stuck. And so thinking through that, I think was really helpful and really fun.
Mm-hmm.